Shalom and welcome back to Family Time Reading.
With Desmond Cole.
I'm gonna try to put it like that. All right.
So far, I'm liking Desmond Cole.
All right. We are back. Shalom, shalom. This is Family Time Reading. We're back at it to pick it back up in the Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol series with book number 10. This is episode 13. Episode 13. Ghouls just want to have fun. Book number 10. Book number 10. Ghouls just want to have fun.
They boogie. Like boogie around.
There are scary places in the world, dark rooms and haunted houses, foggy paths and creepy forests, and most of Desmond Cole's hometown of Kerrsville. But no one expected a school dance to be so gruesome because the ghouls are dying to boogie. We have Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol book number 10 by Andres Miedoso and illustrated by Victor Rivas. Thank you.
And we are back to Desmond Cole.
Let's see what Desmond Cole and Andre got going.
The scary one. Bro, it's not scary.
No, you're talking
They're
about
just talking about scary stories, but that are not scary.
got all the colors in them.
You just want to boogie on down. Alright, back to family reading with Desmond Cole.
Let's go.
Episode 1.
Boy, it's episode 13. Look at old Andre. Look how he's standing.
Because you don't know how to dance.
Chapter 1. Dance, dance, school dance. School dance? Talk about two words that should never ever be in the same sentence. Seriously, is there anything worse than a school dance? Here's how every school dance in the history of dances has ever been. First, they always have the school dance in the gym. The basketball nets are still there, but do you think we're allowed to play basketball? Of course not. All the balls are locked away. Why? Because we're supposed to dance, not have fun. Second, nobody ever dances. No, that's a lie. There are people who dance, the grown-ups. It's so embarrassing, and they always try to get the students dancing too. No thanks. Third, the music is always really old and really, really bad. At every school dance, they have a DJ who plays nothing but songs adults love. The kids have never heard of any of those songs except when we get stuck listening to our parents' music on long car rides. It's the worst. And fourth, we have to dress up. I'm talking suits, ties, jackets, dresses, and shiny shoes that are way too tight and way too slippery, especially on the gym floor. Plus, gym teachers always get mad because there's some weird rule that you can't wear dress shoes in the gym. I guess the shoes leave scratches on the precious floor. But isn't that what floors are for? Stepping on? The whole thing makes no sense. Don't get me wrong. There are some okay things about school dances. There's free food, going to school at night, and having fun with your best friend. Look at that boy. Look at them. Getting their jig on. Like mine, Desmond Cole. That's him on the dance floor. My name is Andres Miedoso, and I'm next to him. The only problem is that we're not just dancing. We're trying to save everyone's lives. Do you want to know what are we saving them from? It's a long story. The disco danger. Look at Andre. Stuck inside. Stuck inside on a rainy day. It all started on a boring day. I was home looking out chapter 2, Disco Danger. It all started on a boring day. I was home, looking out the window as the rain ruined a perfectly good bike riding afternoon. There wasn't anything to do. I couldn't even read because my ghost had stolen all my books. Yeah, you heard me right. Ghosts are real. A ghost named Zax haunts my house, but not in a scary way. He isn't like that. He's more like an annoying brother. Another thing I can tell you is that ghosts love to read, but they never return books. I've lost so many books since Zax showed up. Anyway, since I couldn't go out in the rain and I had zero books to read, I decided to play some video games. I had just started the game when there was a knock on the door. It was Desmond Cole, standing there soaked from head to toe. That was just from walking from his house to mine, and he lives next door. For him to come over through the bad weather like this meant only one thing. Something huge was going on. Desmond came inside, hung up his raincoat, and pulled me into the living room. I just found out the school dance theme, he said excitedly. What, I asked? I was definitely not looking forward to the school dance. But I guess Desmond was, because he raised his hand in the air and kicked one leg to the side. Disco fever, he said, spinning around.
Disco time.
I couldn't tell if he was dancing or if he had stubbed his toe. Either way, it looked ridiculous. I love disco dancing, Desmond said. My parents played disco music all the time, and they taught me every funky move. He clicked his heels together and started twirling both his hands. My parents played disco music too, but they never taught me how to dance. I don't like funky dances, I told Desmond. Actually, I don't like any dances. I like to just find a nice solid wall to lean against and nod my head to the music. Do you know how to dance? Desmond asked me. I shrugged. Well, no. That's what I thought, Desmond said. So I brought my portable speaker with me. Soon, disco music was blasting through my house. The thump, thump, thump of the beat made my mom's flower vase jump, jump, jump on the coffee table. I had to admit, the song was kind of bouncy and fun, and I started to like it. Even Zax flew into the room. I love disco, he screamed over the music. Desmond pointed to me and yelled back, Andre doesn't know how to dance. Zax laughed. I can teach you. And he did. Who would have guessed that ghosts can get funky? For the next hour, Zax showed us all kinds of dances. The music was loud and we were having so much fun. But then there was another knock at the front door. The funny thing was that it wasn't a normal knock. It was kind of a funky too. Whoever was knocking was doing it with lots of rhythm. Quickly, Zax clicked off the music and shushed us. Don't answer that door, he whimpered. It was clear from the look on his face that he was scared. And if the ghost was scared, so was I. Our boring day wasn't going to stay boring for long. Chapter 3, Deadbolt. Shh! Zax swooped down low and turned off the lights. Then before we could ask what was going on, Zax tackled Desmond and me to the ground and covered us with the blanket. Desmond whispered, What's going on, Zax? Creak! Shh! Zax hissed again. A creaking noise came from outside on the front porch. Whoever was at the door wasn't going away. The knock struck again, but it wasn't a funky knock. This time it boomed. I could feel the whole house shake. That's when I remembered something. Oh no, I said, and I squirmed out from under the blanket. The front door is unlocked. I knew what I had to do. Without thinking, I raced over to the front door and locked the deadbolt. Then I crouched by the door and hoped whoever was out there would go away. A second later, the doorknob started to turn. Someone was trying to open the door. I had no choice. There was only one thing to do. I screamed for my mom. I mean, isn't that what any normal kid would have done?
Yes.
Mom came downstairs with a worried look on her face. Mio, why did the music stop? What is going on? When she looked in the living room, I was hiding by the door. Desmond was under the blanket. Zax had disappeared. She must have thought we had gone crazy, but I needed to warn her. Mom, I said, there's someone outside. Click, the deadbolt unlocked, and the door slowly opened. I gasped until I heard, hello, Miedoso house. It was the cheerful voice of my dad. I breathed a huge sigh of relief, and Desmond popped his head out from under the blanket. Something didn't make sense. Could it have been my dad all along, or had someone else been out there? That was when Desmond ran out of the house, still under the blanket. He started looking outside. Oh, man, I'm tripping, excuse me. He started looking around outside. I went out there with him, but nobody was there. I looked up to my window. Zax was gazing down on us with his ghost face, which told us what we already knew. He was totally freaked out, and only one thing could help him, the Ghost Patrol. That's us, baby. Look at them, the Ghost Patrol. Chapter 4, Andre's room. Desmond and I were officially on the case. Our first stop, Zax. We needed to find out what he knew and why he was so scared. We ran past my mom and dad, straight upstairs to my bedroom. Zax was floating and shivering near the ceiling. And let me tell you that a shivering ghost is really frightening. I closed the door and we waved Zax down. You have to tell us what's going on, Desmond said. Zax floated closer and whispered, it was the boogeyman. The boogeyman, Desmond and I repeated. Zax, I said, the boogeyman isn't real. Back when I was little, I used to think the boogeyman hid under my bed at night. I made my parents check to make sure he wasn't there. That was the only way I could fall asleep. Now I know he was just make-believe. Desmond laughed and shook his head. That's not the boogeyman. The boogeyman is some creep who collects kids' boogers. Ew, I said, that's disgusting. It's disgusting and true, said Desmond. I saw the booger eater at the park one time. He was leaning against a tree, picking boogers. That was when I started chasing him. You didn't, I said. But I knew Desmond did. He was always trying to chase down trouble. Yes, I did, Desmond said. I screamed, stop, you booger eater! But he kept running away. Finally, I caught him. But it was just a guy jogging in the park. The boogeyman is real, though. Now, why would he come to your house? Are your boogers tasty? Yeah, no. I gave a nervous chuckle. I mean, I don't know. I don't eat boogers. That's when Zax put his coldest ghost hands on my shoulder. There's nothing funny or silly about the boogeyman, he said, gravely. The boogeyman doesn't hide under the bed. He doesn't eat boogers. It's so much worse than that. Desmond and I stared at him, and it was hard to breathe. What does he do? I whispered. The boogeyman, Zax started, scanning the room to make sure we were still alone. The boogeyman dances. Better get out them boogers, boy. You be the boogie boy. Laughing at Zax. Chapter 5, 2 ghoul feet. Okay, we lost it. Desmond and I cracked up and couldn't stop laughing. There was nothing scary about dancing. I mean, I couldn't dance, but I was never afraid to do it. I was just afraid that other people would see me dancing. But that's a whole other type of fear. That isn't funny. Dancing can be dangerous, Zax huffed, but that made us laugh even harder. The ghost rolled his eyes and floated through the ceiling into the attic. When he was gone, We calmed down. Andre, maybe we shouldn't have laughed, Desmond suggested. Zax was trying to be serious. I know, I said. Let's go get him. We found Zax in the attic next to an old record player. Desmond and I sat next to him. Sorry, Zax. That wasn't cool, Desmond apologized. I nodded. Yeah, we're ready to listen. Who is the boogeyman? Zax took a deep breath. This is a true story. It happened a long time ago at the haunted ball. The haunted ball, Desmond asked. It was a big ghost dance at the Kerrsville graveyard, said Zax. It was the place to be. There was a skeleton band and a foggy dance floor. Every ghost in town came out for it. I gulped. The ghost dance in a graveyard sounds perfectly normal for Kerrsville. It was fine at first, Zax said. Then a stranger strolled in. A very strange stranger. He was dressed in a white suit, and he was wearing a thick gold chain with a medallion hanging from it. I tried to picture this stranger at my front door. It made me shiver. And his hair, Zax continued. You should have seen it. It was thick and combed into a huge poof on top. He really stood out in the crowd. You're making him sound cool, said Desmond. Zax nodded. He was cool. Too cool. The boogeyman. Look at that. Huge hair, groovy gold medallion, white disco suit, styling platform shoes.
Crazy. I don't think crazy. That's a good one. But crazy.
So he's cool. Why would you hide from him, I asked. Zax looked around the room again, and then he leaned in even closer to us. When the boogeyman stepped on the dance floor, he started tapping his toes. All the ghosts watched him. It was like we couldn't look away. Then he pointed to the band with a long, thin finger and said, drop the beat. Then what happened, I asked. I mean, this story was weird, but not as scary as I thought it was going to be. All the ghosts started to dance, Zax, said Zax. Ghosts shimmied and square danced. They danced the jitterbug and the jive. They even bopped and belly danced. What's so bad about that, Desmond said. It sounds fun. What was so bad was they couldn't stop dancing, said Zax. Even the band couldn't stop playing. The haunted ball had turned into what is known as a never-ending dance. Desmond's mouth flew open, but he didn't say anything. Zax's voice dropped down to barely a whisper. Even now, the boogeyman searches for dances, waiting to strike again. I threw my arms into the air and asked, what are we supposed to do about it? There's only one thing you can do, Zax said. You have to stop the school dance. If you don't, every student at Kerrsville Elementary will be stuck dancing forever. Look at them, look like they mapping out the plan. I guess that's look like a map of Kerrsville right there. Chapter 6, Trap Dancing.
It's the boogeyman. They trying to make a trap or something. That's why I said trap dancing.
Desmond and I went back to his garage, a.k.a. Ghost Patrol office, the next day. We needed to figure out how to stop the boogeyman. Desmond was in his deep thinking mode. He studied a large map hanging on the wall. Then he grabbed nets, lamps, and all kinds of gadgets. I didn't know what any of it was for, but I could see that Desmond was making a plan. I knew what he was trying to do. Desmond, are you going to get the school dance canceled? No way, Desmond answered quickly. I look forward to the school dance every year, and I'm not about to let some dancing ghoul ruin our good time. I swallowed hard. Just thinking about the boogeyman was making my heart break dance. Follow me, Desmond said with a smile on his face. We have work to do. We walked around to the back of his house. If you've never seen Desmond's backyard, you don't know what you're missing. He was a full-blown obstacle course back there. It has everything he needs for Ghost Patrol training except for ghosts. There was a warp wall, a rock wall, and a ropes course too. The ropes course wasn't my thing. I can't tell you how many times I got stuck up there. Desmond pulled 4 length mirrors from behind the warp wall and set them into the shape of a box with the mirrors on the inside. Look at that thing. Desmond Cole, ready for anything. Don't ask me why Desmond had 4 full-length mirrors in his backyard. I've learned never to ask questions like that. There was always a reason, and Desmond Cole was prepared for anything and everything. Once the mirrors were set up, Desmond aimed 4 differently colored lights over the top of the turn and turned them on. It looked weird from the outside, but when I stepped into the mirror box, I could see what Desmond was doing. It was a miniature dance party in there. Plus, the mirrors made it look like a million of me were waiting to dance. Next, Desmond pulled out a giant speaker and 2 pairs of earmuffs. Put these on, he said, handing me one set. They will muffle the sound when I turn on the music. Then we'll hide and wait. I was confused. Wait for what? The boogeyman, Desmond said matter-of-factly. Now my heart was back doing backflips. Desmond explained, if the boogeyman wants to dance, let's bring him here. Then he'll get trapped in our mirror box. If no one can see him dancing, Kerrsville will be safe from catching dance fever. His ideas made a lot of sense. I grabbed the earmuffs and followed Desmond to our hiding place, but I still couldn't believe what we were doing. If Desmond's plan worked, the boogeyman would be here in no time. And Desmond Cole's plans always worked. They're waiting at the rope part. Chapter 7, Feel the Beat. We hid out on the ropes course. Desmond said being up that high would let us see when the boogeyman arrived. Now I'm scared of heights, but I didn't mind being that far up off the ground. Not if it meant I wouldn't be close to the boogeyman. When we were settled, Desmond asked, "Are you ready?" I nodded, and we adjusted our earmuffs. Suddenly, I couldn't hear a thing except for the sound of my own breathing. That was when Desmond turned on the music and cranked it up all the way. I couldn't hear it, but I could feel the thumping of the bass as it echoed through my body. Even birds and squirrels scampered away. That music had to be loud. Desmond and I watched the mirror box and waited. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until my head started getting fuzzy. I had to gasp to get some air. Desmond put his finger to his lips, motioning for me to keep quiet. Though I had no idea who could hear me over the music, we turned our attention back to the mirror box. And good thing we did, because right then we saw something shuffling out from behind the bushes. It was a ghoul, dressed like, well, it was hard to describe. I had never seen clothes like that. He had on a suit with crazy shoes that made him taller than he already was, and his hair was wavy and wild. But the look on his face was what made me shiver. His eyes were so wide, and he had a big smile on his face. He looked like he was hypnotized by music. Look at that boy. There was no doubt about it. This ghoul had to be the boogeyman. He was dancing up a storm even before he got to the mirror box. I felt my own feet start to bounce. Luckily, I stopped as soon as he stepped inside. Desmond and I watched and waited. Then watched some more. The boogeyman didn't come out. It was amazing. Desmond Cole's idea totally worked. I went to give Desmond a high five. That was when I kind of lost my balance. It was okay, though. I was strapped into a safety harness. Desmond always says safety on the rope course is very important. Of course, Nothing is safe when you're dealing with the boogeyman. Sure, the harness caught me. Then it swung me right into the mirror box. I came in like a wrecking ball. I'm coming like a wrecking ball. Knocking everything over. I broke the mirrors, shattered the lights, and even unplugged the speaker. When the music stopped playing, the boogeyman stopped dancing. Me? I hung in the air like an unwound yo-yo. The boogeyman walked over to me, closer and closer. Slowly, he reached out, took my earmuffs off, spun me around and said, "Groovy moves, my man. I dig your swinging style." Then the ghoul did a twirl, snapped his fingers, and pointed at me. "I'll see you at school tomorrow." Saved the last dance for me. Then he boogied away. Look at them trying to tell their parents. Chapter 8. Hey, DJ. Go DJ, because that's my DJ. Teacher's Lounge. Sometimes the best plans don't work. At school the next day, we begged our teachers to call off the dance, but we couldn't exactly tell them why. There was no way they believed there was a dangerous dancing boogeyman on the loose. The teachers just laughed us off and said they would see us on the dance floor. It was no use. Grown-ups just don't get this monster stuff. After school, Desmond walked home with me. "There's no other choice, Andre. If the dance is in danger, then we need to save it." He was right, but I tried not to show him how scared I was. The Ghost Patrol was all that stood between Kerrsville and the never-ending dance. When we reached our houses, I nodded to Desmond. We needed to get dressed, Ghost Patrol dance party style. My parents always made me dress up for dances. I had to wear a tie and a nice button-down shirt. But I kept on my favorite sweatshirt and jeans. Then my mom combed my hair for a long time. When she was done, it looked like a little bit like the boogeyman's hairstyle. Huge hair, my best red sweatshirt, fancy smancy shirt and tie, and styling sneakers. He ready for the dance.
You already had them sneakers.
I bounced over to Desmond's house. He answered the door, and I couldn't believe what he was wearing. He was fancy, but he was also dressed for ghoul battle in action. Ready for action attitude, his best cargo pants, spiffy tuxedo tee, hip-high tops.
That's a nice shoe. I really like back to
Andres?
Yes, sir. I really like his shoes.
At school, Desmond and I headed straight for the gym. Now, the gym at Kerrsville Elementary wasn't like other gyms. As a matter of fact, our school wasn't like other schools either. Before it was a school, it was a mansion. The town's founder lived there. And after that, it was a hospital. Now, it's a school. But seriously, it's one of the weirdest schools I've ever been to. The gym was in the mansion's old barn, and it usually looks like a barn. But not that night. It had been completely transformed into a disco on the inside. I couldn't believe it. The first thing I noticed was the dance floor. It was a glowing checkerboard of lights that flickered in different colors. Above the dance floor was a disco ball that reflected the lights and beamed in every direction. There was even a smoke machine pumping out fog. "This is going to be the coolest school dance ever," I exclaimed, smiling big as I looked around the gym. Desmond leaned closer to me and whispered, "Don't forget why we're here. To stop the boogeyman." I gulped. Why did he have to remind me? "Do you have a plan?" I asked. Desmond laughed. "I always have a plan," he said. Suddenly, a loud voice boomed out of the speakers. "Party people! Are you ready to hip-hop and groove, Kerrsville Elementary?" It was a DJ, All the kids cheered back to her, and the music started. Bass and drums pumped throughout the gym. The rhythm was catchy. I felt my body start to move to the beat. It was the weirdest thing. I was not the kind of kid who liked to dance. I panicked. Oh no, is the boogeyman here already? Are we too late?
Yep.
Then I looked at Desmond and calmed down. He wasn't dancing at all. I guess it was just the music that was making me want to dance. And that's just what it did. It didn't even matter that I didn't know how to dance. I was too busy having fun. Maybe I was having a little too much fun. Maybe that's why I didn't see the danger until it was too late. The boogeyman was already out on the dance floor, and he was tapping his toes. There was nothing we could do to stop him. The Kerrsville Elementary School dance was absolutely positively 100% doomed. Look at that boogie down, the boogeyman. On down. Chapter 9, Dance Off. Here's a fact. The boogeyman has a long tongue, a long blue tongue. As he moved wildly on the dance floor, his tongue hung out like a crazy ghoul he was. Pretty soon, all the kids were on the dance floor too. They grooved right next to the boogeyman, even Desmond and me. Here's another fact. Dancing with the boogeyman is hard, really crazy hard. Things got out of control so fast. Everyone was moving, and we couldn't stop. No matter how hard we tried, our bodies had been taken over by the power of the boogeyman. Kids were dancing on the tables, knocking over the trays of cookies and the huge punch bowl with the fruit cocktail floating in it. Even the teachers and parents were dancing, but they had their eyes closed. They didn't even know what was going on. After a few songs, my feet started hurting. I did one more funky twirl on the dance floor and looked at Desmond. We're going to need that perfect plan now, I sang out. Desmond nodded and did a backflip over to the boogeyman. He yelled over the music, "Hey, Ghouls rule! I challenge you to a dance-off!" Instantly, the music paused and everyone stopped except for the grown-ups, who kept dancing and humming to themselves. The boogeyman raised his long blue hand in the air. You look like a groovy opponent. The dance-off begins now. The beat dropped back in, and I covered my eyes. No one wants to see their best friend get into a dance-off with the boogeyman. But that night I learned something new about Desmond Cole. That kid could dance. Well, we all watched as Desmond salsa dance, ballroom dance, and Bollywood dance. He danced the electric slide too. You name it, he danced it. But it still wasn't enough. The boogeyman was doing everything Desmond was doing and more. There was no way Desmond could beat him, not by himself. So I joined Desmond on the dance floor and boogied too. The boogeyman looked surprised. Then all the rest of the kids joined us. The next thing we knew, that ghoul started sweating. Then he started to lose his breath. His dance moves slowed down until he finally stopped. The boogeyman gave up, and everyone cheered. We saved Kerrsville. As we walked off the dance floor, the boogeyman smiled and said, "Thanks for the dance, dudes and dudettes." Look at that boogeyman. Chapter 10, Boogie Down. Once we showed the boogeyman that we knew how to move, his dance curse was lifted. Turns out that all he was looking for was a good time with a good dance partners. Luckily, Desmond Cole knew how to boogie down. Actually, the boogeyman is a cool guy. He comes over to my house for a dance party sometimes. Even Zags get in on the fun. He's not afraid of the boogeyman anymore. In fact, they're friends now. Do you want to know the best thing about the boogeyman? He loves teaching us new moves. We even learned a few ghost dances. We learned the scary shuffle and the creepy crump, even deep haunted house music dancing, and something there wasn't even a name for. We got pretty good. But there's no way we could do any of these at the next school dance. The gym teacher would never allow us to dance on the ceiling. And that concludes the Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol book number 10. Ghouls just want to have fun.
How are they dancing on the ceiling?
I guess the ghosts and the ghouls help them dance on the ceiling. Get book 11. Let's get book number 11. So we succeeded today at book number 10. Book number 10, and we'll come back next time with book number 11, which we're trying to get so we can see what book number 11 is. Book number 11 of Andres Miedoso's Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol series. Illustrated by Victor Rivas. Grab it from the side, DJ.
Crazy.
Grab it from the sides.
It's spooky.
Doom, 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 doom. Let's groove tonight. It's taking you long, man, to get that. Excuse me, son, excuse me.
Come on, bro. How long will it take you?
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy. Tight.
Yes, it's kind of tight now.
It's not tight enough for my brother. Wait, what? That's it? Oh. It's stuck over there, people.
Hold on, son. Hold on.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm about to get it. Man, stop, man.
No, my chair. No, my chair, you mean? My chair, too. And the chair,
All right, here we go.
which one's that? That way. Go with that foot. Which one is that?
Let me see. All right. So next time, we'll be back next time with book number 11. Book number 11 of Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol is Escape from the Roller Coaster.
Ghost.
The Roller Coaster. Good job, DGZ. The Kerrville Amusement Park is always an adventure, but now it gives new meaning to the term thrill rides. That's because the park has a brand new attraction, the roller coaster, and it will make you scream. Warning, you must be this tall to read this book. That's going to be the next book on the list. The next book on the list, book number 11. But today, episode 13, we finished up book number 10, Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol. Ghouls just want to have fun. After the come back later, and you can catch up with it as watch the replay of it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your people, man, we out here reading stuff. This has been family time reading for the day, man. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. And this was Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol book number 10 by Andres Miedoso and illustrated by Victor Rivas. Ghouls just want to have fun. Until next time, shalom, everybody. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Oh, this one's about a werewolf. A werewolf. Book 12.
Okay.
I see it.
Go put book 10 up.
Come on.